How's it going, guys? It's Sam here. Welcome to a new video. I'm gonna get straight into it. This video is perfect for if you're starting out from scratch, or maybe you have started your business and you're just struggling to get off the ground and you see all these videos from these gurus telling you that you would do this system or this guarantee or that guarantee. But these guys have already got businesses that are doing, tens if not hundreds of thousands of dollars per month, and maybe they started those businesses 3 or 4 years ago when there was way less competition and you were just looking for an easy way, not necessarily an easy way, but a simple to understand way to get to 10 grand per month as quickly as possible. And before we go any further, 10 grand is an arbitrary number. It doesn't mean anything, okay? But 10 grand is a good amount of income and it gives you a good amount of profit margin to start to scale things further from there if you want to. So this video is for you guys. This video is going to be focusing purely on if I was to start from zero or from scratch today, with nothing. We're not talking about loads of ad spend or loads of investment. This doesn't take loads of investment. This is what I would do if I was starting from scratch today. We're going to get straight into it. All I ask, if you enjoy this video, give it a like. If you want to see more content, subscribe to my channel. Okay, let's jump into my screen and get straight into it. Okay guys, let's get straight into it. So if you are starting from zero today, there's a few things that I'd recommend you don't do. I would not run ads. I would not go trying to charge clients thousands of dollars. I would not go offering crazy guarantees because you need experience just as much as the client needs to trust you and that you can do what you promise you're going to do for them. Okay, so the most important thing when you're starting out is just to get your first 2-3 clients to give you access to that account if you're running ads, or to give you a little bit of trust so you can test and you can learn and you can improve. You cannot learn by just watching courses. You need practical, real life experience, okay? And this is the easiest way to do that. I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide from steps 1 through 4 on how to go from zero to $10,000 per month. So the first thing you want to do is you want to create your easy yes offer, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes, okay? That is an offer that is easy, as it sounds, is easy for your client or prospective client to say, yes, let's give it a go. Okay, this is not a crazy guarantee. In fact, this requires almost zero guarantees. There's no ROI guarantee in any of this, okay? So step 1 is to create your easy offer. Step 2 is to get your first 3 to 5 clients, and we're going to leverage cold calling. Now, if you guys have never cold called, go back through my channel. I've got other videos on this channel where I give you examples, live examples of me cold calling to show you exactly how it's done. But once you've created your easy offer, this part is going to be easy, okay? The offer is going to be so good that when you call a prospect and you say, hey, are you interested in this? They are stupid if they say no. That's how good this easy offer is going to be. We're going to go through that in just a moment. So next step is going to get your first 3 to 5 clients from cold calling. Step 3 is to leverage those case studies. So we're going to deliver an exceptional service for those clients. We're going to put our absolute everything into delivering the best possible service that we can, okay, for those 3 to 5 clients, and we're going to leverage those case studies. And then what we're going to do, step 4, is to build a systems around your service that allows you to grow. It doesn't necessarily mean hiring. It means building systems of onboarding, building systems for delivering the performance. So you're basically documenting each step of that process so you can then replicate it for multiple clients. If you onboard a client, it takes you a week to do everything, to build out everything, to run the ads, to do everything. It's impossible to grow. Okay, we need to get it to the service needs to be simple enough so that we can then systemize it, eventually hire contractors who can help us to fulfill that service for our clients. So those are the steps. And this is kind of how it looks, okay, guys? So we've got our EasyS offer on the front end, which I've said we're going to go through in just a second. We've got our system of acquisition that I recommend either using in the early stages. I recommend using outreach. So using literally picking up the phone and calling these companies and doing outreach, or you can use paid ads. Okay, those are kind of your 2 options. Obviously, you can do paid outreach, can be email, I recommend cold calling, but it can be email, it can be social media outreach, or you can kind of use paid ads. And obviously down the line, we've got other things like organic, we've got newsletters, there's loads of different solutions. But when you're starting out, the prime objective is just to get clients and get them as quickly as possible. Okay, and then we've got our single funnel. So whichever system we're using, we've got a single funnel, sales funnel that we're going to leverage, which we're going to talk about in a second, to get those clients from being prospects to being paid clients. Okay, that is what we're going to do. So your easiest offer is, it should be an easy yes, as it sounds. So that doesn't require a huge ad budget or hours of sales calls or high sales skills to convert these prospects into clients, okay? Second one is niche dependent. So if your niche can be targeted with ads, then you can obviously use ads. So if you're working in sectors where there's lots of them, you can find them, target them easily with social media, then it makes life much easier. If you're going to grow, so past the first 3 to 5 clients, if you're then going to grow further with outreach, then you might be able to hire somebody to handle your outreach for you, whether that's an appointment setter, someone to do email marketing or otherwise. Okay, but either way, we're going to focus on doing this ourselves in the early stages because we're starting from zero. So the funnel that we're going to be using, okay, so the traditional funnel is kind of this, right? So it's paid ads. In most cases, it's paid ads. You run them through to like a VSL funnel, which is essentially like an opt-in to, find out how we delivered X for X, things like this. You then do a sales demo, and then you get a paid client. Now, typically, they will recommend you run guarantees. So you say, hey, we'll guarantee, 20 grand of new sales, or double your business in 90 days, or you don't pay us until we do, or we work for free until we do, or whatever. Now, it sounds really good, but now obviously everybody's running these. So it's the cost, your cost per booked call from ads is extremely expensive, and your response rate from cold calls is extremely low. Think about it. If you call a client and say to them, you're brand new member, you call a prospect and you say, hey, can you give me 30 seconds? I'm going to tell you how we can double your business in 90 days. 90% of the time they're going to go, no, F off, and they're going to put the phone down on you because they've heard it all before. Okay. So obviously the cost per lead can be quite expensive, and your best chance ROI in the first month is going to be 1.5 to 2x. Now, because we're brand new, and if you're starting from scratch, you don't necessarily have all the skill sets required to retain those clients. You don't know if you're going to, when you onboard a client, if they're going to leave after the first month or stick around for 3, 6, 12 months. Okay. So the most important thing is getting that experience. Okay. So my process, what we call the EasyS funnel, is you can either run paid ads or cold outreach for the same kind of thing, but just with a slight offer change. $400 in paid ads is going to get you between anywhere from 10 to 30 sales calls. I put 20 here. With these offers, you can get sales calls or like booked sales calls for like $10 to $20. Okay, super easy. And we're going to show you why in a second. If you get 20 sales calls, you might convert half of those into demos. And from that, because your paid trial offer is so good and easy to say yes to, you should be converting like 50% of those demos into a paid trial client. And obviously, a percentage of those guys will go on to become long-term clients, and you could be getting like a 10x ROI within the first 1 to 2 months from your paid ads if that's what you choose to do. Okay, so as I said, most agency gurus will tell you to sell retainers for like 2 to 4K up front. I think a lot of the reasons they're doing this is because they started their agencies that they're using to kind of teach. They ran these agencies like 2, 3, 4 years ago when there was far less competition. I think it's very difficult to do that now, charge retainers up front. You absolutely can, but you definitely need some form of case studies. You need a good reputation. You need to really know what you're doing to be able to do that. I think if you've got lots of case studies and you've got a really good process, it makes sense. Companies see that and they can see the value and they're willing to pay for it. But when you're starting out, very, very hard to do. And you just end up spending all of your budget. So I said, these kinds of offers, they eat your cash flow. So you're going to end up spending $150 to $300 for each sales call, or you're going to end up spending 60 to 70% of your time selling, when that time obviously needs to be spent delivering a great service to your clients. It's much easier to have a really good offer that's easy for them to say yes to, so that when you jump on a sales call, you're confident in your pitch, and the chance of closing is like 50 to 70% as opposed to it being like 10 to 20%. Okay. And I also think they use these because it creates good success stories. Like when they do get members join that have good sales skills and they're really experienced sellers, and they jump on and they pitch these sales, they collect cash up front, it makes for good case studies. They can have these case studies where people are making 5, 10 or 15K in like 2 weeks. And obviously because they're collecting a lot of cash up front, it looks good for them in terms of selling their programs and courses and stuff. But this easy offer, it gets booked calls for like 10 to 20 bucks, or booked meetings from like 5 to 10 cold calls. And if you guys don't believe me, you can literally scroll back on my channel, my past like 3 or 4 videos. You'll see my last cold calling one. You'll see that I literally spent half an hour calling and got like 3 booked meetings. Okay, so it's proof that this works. And it uses zero guarantees. So let's look at some EasyS offer examples. So just to note, a crazy ROI guarantee is not an EasyS offer. So just because it sounds good, just because you're saying, oh, we're going to double your business in 90 days, doesn't mean they believe that you actually can do that. That's not an easiest. It's not easy to say yes to that, because where's the proof that you've done it? Okay. So here it goes. So we'll provide you, these are 3 examples that I've made. So we'll provide you pre-qualified inbound calls on a pay per call basis, and you get the first 5 for free. Okay. So for example, let's say you're working with chiropractors. You would advertise, you would call their leads for them. You would then, when that prospect is qualified and you've spoken to them and they're interested in the service, you would then transfer that call over to the client, and the client would then pay you a $50 or $100 or $150 for every call transferred. That is a no-brainer offer. If you're saying to them, hey, we're going to literally do all the ads, we're going to call the leads, and we're going to send them your way when they're qualified, and you only pay for the ones that you get, it's an immediate no-brainer for them, because there's no risk, there's no big setup fee. It's a no-brainer. Okay. And and you get the first 5 for free. So you can tie the first 5 for free into your pitch. So when you get them on a sales demo, you can pitch them on the price. You can get them to sign an agreement that says, yep, we'll pay you $80 for every call transfer that you send us, but the first 5 is free. Okay, so the first 5 you send, you don't get paid, but the next 10, 15, or 20, that you start getting paid. So it makes sense for you and for the client, okay? Number 2, which was this one, we'll provide 20 qualified leads in your first 30 days for just £399. So this is like a paid trial offer. So it's not a free trial offer. It's like your first month, you pay us £399 plus your ad spend, I would say. And we're going to get you a minimum of 20 qualified leads in your first 30 days. So it's like they look at it, the price is reasonable. Obviously, you would then increase that price in the second month, depending on the volume of leads they want. So you might upsell them on $799 or $1,000 or $1,500, depending on what your offer is and what your customer's willing to pay. But for that first month, you can try it out. It's only £399, relatively low price, and it's relatively easy for them to say, yeah, we'll give that a go. For 400 quid, we'll give that a go. It's an easy yes, okay? Number 3 is we'll generate, qualify, and book in-person consultations for your clinic on a pay-per-show basis. Obviously, it's dependent on your product or service or what kind of client you're serving, which is really important to understand. But we'll generate, qualify, and book in-person consultations for your clinic on a pay-per-show basis. So you call the leads, you schedule them into the client's diary. You can use Go High Level to do that. And I'll leave a link to the free trial down below. And then every trial that you get them, also every consultation that you get them, you get paid £50, £100, £150 per qualified consultation. Okay. Now, obviously, what you can do is you can always switch these to retainers. So let's say you onboard a client and they agree to pay $100 for every in-person consultation. You end up getting them 20, and they owe you $2,000. Well, you can say to them, hey, how about we reduce it down to $1,000 a month retainer? You save money, we get consistent income, everyone's a winner. So there's ways you can start with this, and then you can always drop sell them down to a retainer, which helps you kind of grow your recurring revenue in a more reliable way if you choose to do that. But these offers work well. A couple of caveats I would do. If you're doing a performance model like this, where you're charging on a qualified lead basis, I would always take a deposit. So even if that deposit is $50 or $99, or even just like $25, take a deposit. It gets a little bit of it does 2 things. It gets a micro commitment from that client, and what it also does is it gets their payment method on file. So once you've got like service agreement signed, you can set them up with an automatic payment each month, which just takes what you're owed and charges them for it like after the month is finished. And obviously you include that in your service agreement that you send to the client, which you can get easily done with ChatGPT or something similar. And the client is, because you've got the deposit paid, the client gets automatically charged at the end of every month. So that is pretty much it. That is like, I know this is dead simple. If you guys do want more in-depth help on this, I obviously have a paid school group. I am doing a 6-week workshop, which is starting on the 6th of September. We've got 4 spots left out of 10. So if you guys are interested in that, I'll leave a link to both of those down below. But otherwise, you can get my free course on school by using the link down below as well. It's a 5-day workshop, which you guys can get for free, help you get your first couple clients. But otherwise, that's the end of the video. If you liked it, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.